on just a couple of signs that I feel like are going to have a very impactful 2023. Whether that's just the year 23 or 2023, or if it's the beginning of a very, very long transformative period for certain signs. We're not going to be going over all of them, just the ones that kind of stood out for me. And we're going to just talk a little bit about what these signs could possibly look forward to. And we're going to go from there. As always, I appreciate you guys joining me on this live. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me, and I do appreciate you taking out time from your busy schedules to hang out with me for a little while. Hey, Kim. Hey, Tanya. I think somebody asked to join the live, but I'm not going to be doing that tonight. But I appreciate it. So anyway, 2023. Let's see. First and foremost, I am just 2022 for me personally. Just came by. It came really, really fast. For me, 2022 was supposed to be my year to finally get myself together and get myself back together from the experience of 2020, when we had when we had the panorama. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I still didn't get myself together in 2022. I still didn't get myself together. So, I am very, very optimistic that 2023 will be a little bit different for myself. Now, will I say 2022 was a waste, or I didn't get anything accomplished? No, I wouldn't say that. I learned some huge lessons about myself by way of how I do one-on-one relationships with other people. And that really helped me. Really helped me. And I think 2022 marked the year that I am better equipped on moving forward in how to do relationships. And I don't want anyone to just think that, I'm just talking about romantic relationships. No, not just romantic relationships for me, but just a lot of interpersonal relationships with people, friends and family, business associates, and romantic. I learned a lot of lessons about that. For me, 2022, it still had a lot to do with career things. I think earlier this year, I went through a period of trying to figure out my career path and what I wanted to do. And I think it was more or less not necessarily changing careers, but how to make my current career different, how to, I guess, breathe some fresh new life into it. So it was a lot of career stuff for me, and a lot of one-on-one relationship stuff for me. And so I spent a lot of time going over those things. And I had some adjustments by way of family dynamics. I had a sprinkle of family dynamics and family changes. So 2023, when I look at the astrology for myself, 2023 looks like more of more career stuff. And I think that's really going to be what drives me in 2023 is career changes. I think another thing that is probably going to be driving me, and I feel like this could actually be a collective thing. I feel like 2023 is going to be a year of us getting ourselves together mentally and physically. I feel like for whatever reason, energetically, most people are going to be really stepping into the space of wanting to take care of themselves on a physical level and also on a mental level, which is always a good thing. For me, my business-wise, 2021 was all about a lot of relationship stuff for me, and a lot of, well, as far as my business, and I kind of like looked at the theme of what type of readings I was doing and what types of things were showing up in people's lives. And I noticed that 2021 had a big emphasis on relationships, particularly romantic relationships. I had a lot of clients that came to me to talk about love. They wanted to specifically in 2021 talk about love. I had, so it was a lot of that. Another thing for 2021 was I had a lot of, and that carried also from 2020, but 2020, 2021, I had a lot of baby news. So there was a lot of babies, from my clients. You know, a lot of people got pregnant and started families within my clientele. Now, 2022 was a little bit different because I had a lot of clients, and the theme of my business for 2022 seemed to be career. So there was a lot of talk around career. There was a lot of talk around people changing jobs. There was a lot of talk around people educating themselves, wanting to go into a new career path. And I had a lot of clients update me. And I just had one today that inboxed me to let me know that the career stuff that we had talked about in their reading actually came to fruition, and they got offered a new position, which kudos to them. And I've had other standout career moments with my clients. I had like 2 clients that secured 6-figure salaries. One of them, she started her educational pursuit for her dream career. So it was a lot of work, a lot of career stuff in 2022. So as I move forward in 2023, I feel like it's going to be centered around health, people's health. And I can already see how it's showing up for me and the plans that I have with regards to the direction I want to take my own personal health. So 2023 could look like a health year for everyone. And that's not a bad thing. So, you know, what was the highlights of, I have 4 people on here. If anybody wants to share, what were in your life, what seemed to be the highlights for you, or what stood out in your life for 2022? Because we are basically on the end of 2022, and we're at the threshold of 2023. So what seemed to be the theme or the thing that stood out for you in 2022? Let's talk about some of the signs that are going to be impacted by 2023 and what their in 2023 could look like. So tonight we're not just only talking about, Kim got a new job. Excellent. So you had some career stuff going on this year. So I feel like 2022 was a career year. Excellent. Okay, so let's talk about some of the astrology. And I have some notes, but a lot of notes I left off because I fell asleep when I was doing my notes. So I'm going to wing some of this. So give me a little grace because I'm kind of winging it a little bit tonight. But I wanted to talk about the eclipses. Okay. Our solar and lunar eclipses that we've been going through. And I've done lives on the eclipses, and we've talked about how the eclipses impact you for 6 months at a time. And we've been in eclipse season, and eclipse season has encompassed two signs that it's impacted this year. So our first eclipse for this particular eclipse season actually started November 2021. And it was in the sign of Taurus. And then we had another one December 2021 in the sign of Sagittarius. So we do keep those together as in the eclipse season. But as we moved forward, the first official eclipse for 2022 was back in April. April 30th, 2022. And when eclipses happen, they are a period of they're a planetary action that does impact us for 6 months. So we feel this energy for 6 months after the eclipse. And so from April until November 2022, we will still be in the eclipse season, and it will still be impacting my Scorpios and Tauruses. Now, when I say Scorpio and Taurus, if you are a Taurus or Scorpio sun, Taurus or Scorpio moon, or Taurus or Scorpio rising or ascendant, these are the people that I'm talking about. So it was a lot of transformation for everyone, but particularly for these two signs, especially Scorpio. And I feel like Scorpio was impacted a lot by these eclipses. Now, when we're dealing with a solar eclipse, keep in mind that that is a representation of a new beginning. Solar eclipses are a representation of a new beginning. And that thus would mean lunar eclipses are a representation of endings in our lives. Now, when you define the word eclipse, that is basically to take something away. So both eclipses can result in things being taken out of your life, removed from your life, either by your will or not by your will, basically. So just depending on where Taurus and Scorpio are placed in your own birth chart, that would have indicated to you where the eclipse is going to impact you. And I think I did a couple of lives. We did some lives over the eclipses. If you want to go back to look at those eclipses, they are definitely either still on this page, or you can go to my YouTube channel at Melanin Goddess Life and look over those, because I'm not going to go over those tonight. So our next set of eclipses are actually coming up in October, at the end of October. And the solar eclipse is again going to be in Scorpio, and the lunar eclipse is going to be in Taurus. So again, Scorpio and Taurus natives will be feeling this energy the most, because it's going to impact them in a way that has everything to do with who they are. It has everything to do with transforming them on a deep psychological level. So they're going to feel it the most. And then the rest of us will get it in certain areas of our life. If you are a Leo rising like myself, this eclipse coming October the 25th, which I'm going to do a separate live on and go over everyone's sign. But because I'm a Leo rising, I'm always partial to them. So I'm always going to give them a little bit of grace. But if you are a if you're a Leo rising like myself, this upcoming eclipse on October the 25th is going to definitely impact you by way of your family life, your family dynamics, your home life, your physical home, and your emotional foundation. So that is going to be something that you can anticipate a new beginning in that area of your life. And yeah. Now, The eclipse that's going to be coming up November 8th, 2022 is going to be in Taurus. And that's a full moon eclipse. Again, that's about endings, acknowledgments, adjustments. And for my Leo risings, this will impact the area that governs your career. So this will be all about your career, your status, your public image, your reputation, the titles that you wear. In that area. Okay, so that was 2022. Now, as we look down the road to 2023, we get a new set of eclipses. Okay, so this is going to be the first signs that I feel like will definitely have a very impactful and transformative 2023. And the first one is going to be Aries. So if you are an Aries sun, an Aries moon, or an Aries rising, you can anticipate a lot of changes in a deep, transformative, psychological way for you for 2023. And that is because you're going to be hosting the next series of eclipses. So that will start April 2023. And there's going to be a total solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. So this is my Aries getting a fresh new beginning in pretty much every part of their life. So you will start to go through the transformation in 2023. Now, Aries is a energy of the go-getter. It wants to make things happen. It's always in forward motion. But this energy is going to call for Aries to really, really just slow down and think about some of the changes, think about some of the things that they're wanting to do for themselves, and really harness that energy that you have so that you could use it in a more useful way, in a way that makes sense. So I'm not saying that you need to curb your enthusiasm. You don't need to be your Aries self, but you need to learn to channel that energy so it's not so all over the place, and then you could really, really utilize it and maximize it. But Aries is one of those signs I feel like in 2023 is going to have a big transformative changes in pretty much every area of their life. Okay. The next lunar eclipse will be May 2023, but it will be back in the sign of Scorpio. So that eclipse will feel very familiar to people because, again, we've been in eclipse season all of 2022 with Scorpio and Taurus. So that second eclipse in 2023 will feel really familiar to everyone because we've been dealing with it for an entire year. But the following one in October 2023 is going to feel differently for Libra. The next sign that I do believe is going to have an impactful year. And this particular sign, I thought that, did you do Virgo? I just had a, no, I'm not doing individual signs. I'm just talking about the particular signs that are going to be stand out for 2023. So I don't think Virgo is going to be one of those that has anything that is going to really have a big impact. But at the same time, you know, they will have impacts, you know, in different areas of their life. So we're just talking about those that are going to have like significant transformation pretty much across the board. So the next one I feel like, and I talked to someone about, let's see, I'm a sun in Aries, moon and rising in Virgo, my Chiron, return in Aries. Yeah, so is it Tanya or Tanya? You're definitely, again, going to be one of those that's going to be impacted for 2023. If you're having your Chiron return in Aries, yeah, that's a big one. So you do have a combination of things coming up for you that can be very, very transformative for you for 2023. Okay? Now, the next sign, I actually talked to someone the other day about why their life was the way it was, and I told them it was going to get better in 2023, and I believe I lied to them. Ooh, I hope I didn't lie to them, but I do I do believe that I kind of lied to them. I'm feeling it already. Thank you. Excellent. And I hope I didn't. So I'm sorry if I told them a lie. So I'm gonna wait on that sign because I need to clean this up, and hopefully this person is on here and they hear it. And I'm just gonna apologize that I probably led you astray and told you everything was gonna be better. It'll just be different. How about that? So the next sign that I feel like is going to find some true relief is the sign of Capricorn. Now, if you are a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising, this is for you. The reason why my Capricorns have been in the space that they've been in, and they've been in it for a long time, as far back as 2008. So I want my Capricorn natives, sun, moon, or rising, if you can, and I don't know if you can do it here on the live or you can later on, think back to 2008 and think about what started to transform in your life. Or even if it wasn't 2008, from the time from 2008 up until now. If you can tell me, was there something that happened in that span, or some things that happened in that span that really, really transformed your life, or you went through a total transformation? Now, I know that that's a lot to go back to, but it's very important that my Capricorn, sun, moon, and risings try to go back to that time and think about what was going on, or what has been going on with you since 2008. And the reason why I want you to go back that far is because this is when this started to happen for you. That was the time that Pluto, the planet of transformation, the planet of death and rebirth, literally and figuratively, the planet of power struggles, of evolution, all of those things. This is when Pluto went into Capricorn back in 2008. Now, because Pluto is a very slow-moving planet, it takes approximately 15 years for it to transit through a sign and possibly a house. So when we have the slower outer-moving planets, we don't feel it as much, but it is a powerful transit because it's making changes on a very deep level. It's coming in, Pluto's coming in and making changes that affect your life for the long term. And the changes are they can be very, very heavy. And one of the things is Pluto is all about control. So a lot of times when Pluto comes in, it is trying to get you to detach from the ideas or the principles or the habits that you have an unhealthy control over. Like, we all have things that we want to control in our life. We do, and it may not be the healthiest thing. So Pluto's job is to come in and to get you to identify areas where you are trying to maintain control, and it may be in an unhealthy way. So it does take a long time sometimes. And so this is why this transit is so important and it's so impactful, because it's going to help you in the long run. This is something that we're trying to get out of the pathology of an unhealthy behavior. So it went into Capricorn in 2008. It will leave Capricorn March 2023. Now, there's going to be a period where it goes back and forth a little bit. But for the most part, it's leaving in 2023. I promise my Capricorns, sun, moon, and risings, and people that have heavy Capricorn energy in their chart, you're going to feel it. You're going to be like, it's kind of like you've been walking around in this space, in this energy, And because you've been in it for so long, it's become just a way of life for you. You just feel like it's normal. But when March 2023 hits, or it's probably starting to happen now, and it leaves, you're going to be like, oh, something has changed. The weight has lifted, the veil is lifted. Whatever this was, you're going to feel the difference in you. Okay? But hopefully you got the lesson. Hopefully you detached yourself from those control issues that you may have had in certain areas in your life. Hopefully you have evolved as a different person. Hopefully I'm hoping that none of you had any experiences that were very, very heavy. You know, hopefully your lesson was kind of light, or you got your lesson really, really quick. But Pluto could have come in and set up some major health issues for some of my Capricorn natives. If that was the area of your life that you felt like you were in control of, it could have manifested in an illness that you had no control over, and you had to depend on others, or you had to seek medical attention, or whatever it was. This could have looked like some of my Capricorns that had control issues in relationships, whether they were the person that was being controlling, or if they were the person that was being controlled. Hopefully they broke away from that unhealthy dynamic, and they realized that, you know, I can be very controlling in relationships, and that's not how you have a healthy relationship. Or they realize I'm no longer going to let people have power over me in my relationships. It's not something I'm going to accept anymore. And they transformed. And again, Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. So certain parts of you dying off that were no longer needed, and you are now rebirthed into a different person. So my Capricorns will be seeing that, and hopefully you got the lesson, and because that's all astrology is about, is getting the lesson. Now, when Pluto moves on, it has to go somewhere. And guess where it's going? It's going to your neighbor next door, which is Aquarius. Okay, now and see, and this is why I don't like having general conversations about astrology with people, because sometimes I tell you some things that may not necessarily impact you in a way, because everybody's individual chart is different. So, like I was saying before, I was having a conversation with an Aquarian, and I'm gonna tell you, Aquariuses have been having a very, very impactful last two and a half years, and she wanted to know, you know, when was this going to end? When was this going to stop? And I'm like, oh, it's coming to an end. It should be alleviated by springtime, and things should look a little bit differently. But I forgot that Pluto is going into Aquarius. So they're about to enter a 15-year cycle of transformation. So, yes, some of the stressors that they've been going under the last two and a half years are going to leave, but they're about to start a whole new cycle of something. So this is why I don't want y'all to ask me general questions. You really need to have a detailed reading. These lives that I do are general. They really don't do you really don't get all the benefit that you can get from us doing these lives because I'm only doing in a general reading. And I know it helps a lot because the information is good, but you really garner the big benefit by doing a one-on-one reading with me. So that's why I tell people, and a lot of your questions that you ask me on here, I can't answer because I don't know your personal astrology. So what I will tell you is it would be in your best interest if you've not had a one-on-one reading with me, or if you just want to have a reading, astrology reading with anyone, it would be in your best interest to do that and put that on your things to do list for 2023. I'm just saying, because I'd be able to get more personal with you. And hold on a second. get more personal with you, and we can look at your personal astrology. But anyway, so let's talk about Aquarius, because that's the next person. So we talked about Aries, we talked about Libra, we just talked about Capricorn. I'll give my Capricorn some relief. So let's talk about Aquarius, because they're going to be another one that I feel like is going to have a continued impactful 2023. And the reason I say that is because if you're an Aquarius sun, an Aquarius moon, or an Aquarius rising, particularly my Aquarius suns and my Aquarius rises, maybe not so much my Aquarian moons, but y'all may have felt it on a more internal level. The last 2.5 years for you have been really heavy. They've been really heavy. You've gone through a lot. I will say that. Now, I can say that from a general aspect because it's true. It's true. My Aquarian natives are just, they went through it. They went through it. And a lot of challenges, but there were a lot of accomplishments. There were a lot of great moments. There were a lot of achievements going on with Aquarius, but there were also a lot of challenges as well. There were a lot of learning lessons and learning moments, and there were a lot of moments that just didn't feel good. So it was, over the last couple of years, kind of like this with Aquarius. Something great would happen, and then a few months down the line, a low moment would happen. And the reason they were going through that is because everybody goes through it. They had Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn went into Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarian, sun, moon, or rising, or you know in your birth chart you have a lot of Aquarian placements, I want you to think back to around March 2020, because this is when this started. March 2020. And I think a lot of you are going to probably say, well, that's when the panorama happened. Yes, that's true. That is. But you were also going through some personal stuff that had nothing to do with what we were collectively going through. Okay. So I'm going to tell you this. A lot of what my Aquarians were going through was not with regards to the panorama. Okay. So you cannot blame the panorama on a lot of this. You were going to go through this anyway. Because Saturn is the planet, is called the taskmaster. It is the planet of duty, restriction, delay. It's the planet of growth and maturity, hard work, and doing things the way you're supposed to do. It's all about structure and discipline with Saturn. So when Saturn comes to a house, particularly when it comes to a sign, it's there to teach you a lesson. It's there to make you really work for everything. And it's there to grow and mature you. So no matter what age you were, if you were an Aquarian, this was all about lessons. Like lessons that you needed to learn. Experiences you needed to go through, whether they were good, bad, or indifferent. And I don't ever think of anything as good or bad. Everything is a learning lesson. Everything is about learning and growing. But whether you considered it good, bad, or indifferent, Saturn was there to teach you a lesson. And it was coming in to look at the overall picture of your life, Aquarius, and to see where things needed to change. To see where you needed more structure. To see where you needed more discipline. I'm an Aquarius moon. You know the biggest lesson I'm saying. Exactly. So when I see my Aquarius moons, they were learning it more on an internal level. These were internal changes. This was like the emotions and things that we wrap our emotions around with my Aquarian moons. That was a lot. Things that are near and dear to our heart. But overall, my Aquarian natives were learning lessons, growing and maturing. And you know, growth is not comfortable. Growth is not comfortable. But it was the experiences that you had, because what you did was you did a lot of work on yourself. And as we get to the end of this cycle, which is March 2023 for my Aquarians, you will start to reap the rewards, reap the benefits. Now, reaping rewards and benefits. And it's funny because we're in harvesting season. It may not necessarily be tangible things, though it could be. It could be things that we acquire, obtain for ourselves, and all of that. But the biggest takeaway from all of this is the lessons that you've learned. That is like that's the biggest, I guess, prize that you could get. That is the biggest accomplishment you can get, is the lessons that you've learned about yourself, about life, about people around you, all of those things. Because that was Saturn's job, was to teach you, to get you to be more wise, to get you to understand, to get you to be more serious and mature about life. So I think the biggest reward for you was the lessons that you learned, because those are the lessons that you're going to carry on over into your life. Okay? And learning discipline. So, again, if you can think back real quick, March 2020 for my Aquarian natives, what started off and kicked off for you with regards to the Saturn energy being in your sign. Now, March 2023, Saturn is like, okay, Aquarius, it's been nice. I hope you've gotten the lesson. Hugs and kisses, everything that I did to you, I did out of love. And but I gotta move on. I can't stay. And your Aquarians are like, get your ass out of here. I'm sick of you. But you can't hurt Saturn's feelings. That he doesn't care. So Saturn said, I gotta move on to your neighbor, because your neighbor is struggling over here, and I need to go over there and work my magic and do what I gotta do, because your neighbor is drowning. The neighbor that is going to receive Saturn in their sign March 2023 to May 2025 is Pisces. Ooh. So if you are a Pisces sun, Pisces moon, or Pisces rising, you will now be hosting Saturn in your sign. And you will now be receiving the lessons of Saturn across the board in your life. So I'm giving you ample amount of time to get prepared. Again, energetically, you may already feel like something's happening with me. Something's happening. And it's the Saturn. So you will be hosting Saturn for about 2.5 years, Pisces. And it's all about growth and maturity and lessons. A lot of accomplishments, extreme growth, but at the same time, it may be some low moments where you like, wow, I can't believe this is happening to me. It is Saturn's job to get you into shape, okay? And that's what he's going to be doing for the next 2.5 years. Don't fear it. Don't try to run from it, because first of all, you can't run from it. Don't go into this period in fear. Go into it being open to learning the lessons, being open to receiving whatever it is I'm supposed to be receiving, being open to learning whatever it is I'm supposed to be learning, and be open to doing the work. Saturn is a planet that requires you to do the work. Requires you to do the work. It's not like Jupiter and Venus that just brings you the blessing because they just want you to have it. Saturn is like, I want you to do the work because it's important. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to appreciate it more if you do the work. And Saturn says, you got to do the work in order for me to reward you. Now, one thing I will tell my Aquarian natives, if you haven't done the work and you haven't done the lesson, at this point, Saturn's going to leave you to figure it out, because Saturn was there to support you in helping you to get through this. But if you didn't get the lesson, or you didn't do the work in certain areas of your life that you knew you needed to do the work, and Saturn is leaving now, Saturn's like, you're on your own. You're going to have to do this on your own and figure it out. I tried to help you. I tried to get you disciplined. I tried to get you to see things clearly and do things the way you're supposed to do it in order, and you refuse. Okay, I got to go. You're going to have to figure it out. And just how Saturn works. But now it's going into Pisces to do its work. Don't fear it. Embrace it. Welcome it in, because it's there to help. Saturn help. But Saturn won't reward you unless you do the work and you get the lesson. It won't. It just won't. It'll just leave you hanging, looking crazy. Like, well, what do I do now? Well, you should have been trying to figure it out when I was there trying to help you. So I don't care anymore. So Pisces is another one that is going to be impacted for 2023. So Aries, Libra, and Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Those are my 5 picks for 2023 that will be seeing some big changes in their life. And it's their choice how these changes look, what you want them to look like. That's your business. Okay? So those are my 5 picks for 2023. Does anyone have any questions?